What's good, y'all? It's your boy JTK, aka Josh Who Cool, and welcome back to another video. Now today, we talking about something that happened last night, man. Logan Paul versus Floyd, money Mayweather. Now, piece of hair in my mouth, bro. What the hell? Anyway, bro. This fight, we're gonna get straight into it. This fight was, according to some people, terrible. Because they didn't want to see Logan, hug the whole time and all that stuff. They really didn't enjoy the fight. There were times where the crowd was booing, all that stuff, and I get it. I get why the crowd was booing. I really do, because as a fan, you want to see the knockouts. You want to see people get dropped. I get all that. Here's the thing. Logan in the first to maybe even third round did a good job working his jab. He did a really good job working his jab, and he went to the body a lot in the early rounds. Later in the fight, he didn't, which he should have continued to do. And I'm gonna get into the hugging thing afterwards. He did a really good job of keeping that jab active in the early rounds. Now, obviously, when you get tired, it's really hard to do that. And I know from experience, because I get tired in fights, and it's hard to just keep on going with that jab, right? Especially with Logan's size and the muscle that he has. It's kind of tiring just to keep it there, right? That's why you see a lot of these fighters, they're pretty skinny. They're not that muscular. They focus strictly on skill and power. And so, Logan having all that muscle and size can be an advantage and disadvantage. Now, the hugging, which a lot of people didn't like. They're like, oh, I watched Logan and Floyd hug for $100 million. I get that. I really do. I didn't pay for this fight, and I'm glad I didn't. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to tell y'all how I got it, but I did. And, This was boring, obviously, for a lot of fans. But to me, this was a strategy by Logan, because when you're coming into a fight with a 35-pound advantage, you have to use your weight to some degree. You have to use it, and that's what Logan did. Him hugging Mayweather, obviously Mayweather still didn't get tired. His cardio was tremendous. He came in tremendous shape. So did Logan Paul, but Logan seemed to get tired fairly quicker than Floyd. It didn't look Floyd was exhausted one bit. But that's what Logan's goal was to put his weight on Mayweather, make him hold his weight. Because the more he did that, the more, Floyd would be like, man, I can't hold this guy up anymore. This guy's 35 pounds heavier than me. That's why you saw them in the clinch, all that stuff. Logan trying to land up. Logan should have thrown more in those clinches. I mean, I was surprised when Floyd was the one throwing more in those clinches, because that should have been Logan. It should have been Logan. Obviously, Logan's landing percentage rate was very, very low. I think it was at maybe a 20%, and Floyd was at like a maybe 50-55%. But that's Floyd Mayweather. This is one of the best defensive boxers in history, right? This guy, it's very hard to hit Mayweather, and top tier boxers have struggled to hit this guy. And if you guys see Floyd's tactic, a lot of the times fighters don't want to be up against the ropes or up against the corner. That's Floyd's tactic, though. That's how he reels you in. And when he fought Canelo, that's what Canelo sometimes bid on it, but didn't all the time, because he knows Floyd can get out of that. And Floyd's tactic is to lean against the ropes and reel you in. When you're leaning against the ropes, your opponent's gonna think, man, I'm coming at this dude, right? This guy's cornered. Floyd can get out of there quickly, lean to his left or right, get a circle out of there, throw some punches, right? And with Logan having his hands down, which is a really bad idea. I don't care how much experience you have. You saw even Floyd Mayweather, who's 50-0, 51-0 if you can count this, because obviously Floyd won this fight. There's no doubt about that. But he's 50-0, and he still kept his hands up. That is what Logan had to do, because he was pretty much asking to get knocked out. He was asking to get knocked out, and he just wasn't playing it safe. He had his hands down the whole fight. I don't think he had them up for one whole round. He had them up a couple of times. That's what his corner should be telling him. That's what his corner should be yelling at him. That's what I would have been yelling at Logan. Be like, keep your damn hands up. If you really want to win this fight, keep your hands up. I'm not gonna cuss on here. If I accidentally do it, then I do. But keep your hands up. Because if you're not keeping your hands up, you're asking to get punched in the face. And getting punched in the face by Floyd Mayweather doesn't feel good, right? Getting punched in the head, getting punched in the face in general by a guy that boxes doesn't feel good. Earlier this week, I might have suffered a minor concussion. Very, very small concussion from sparring this past week. And so I might have to take a break or probably not spar for the rest of the year. But yeah, so that's what Floyd's tactic is, and what Logan's tactic was, what he came into, because when you watch boxing, all obviously, though some casual fans are not gonna read it like how I read it, because I actually know the sport. I do. I'm an MMA fighter. I watch boxing. I watch MMA a whole lot. So I'm gonna be watching the fight a lot different than others, right? Logan's strategy was to tire Floyd out, and that is really, really hard to do. At 44 years old, this guy has tremendous cardio, better cardio than me probably, man. And he's 44, and Logan's 26 years old, and what Logan was trying to do when he was hugging him is really just trying to put his body weight on him and make Mayweather carry his body weight for the majority of the fight. And what Logan did wrong was not only keeping his hands down, but when he clinched up, Floyd was throwing more in those clinches. And that's what was wrong. That Floyd was throwing more in those clinches than Logan was. When you clinch up with Floyd and you have that weight advantage, you have that height advantage, that reach, all that stuff, you got to throw in those clinches. You have to. You're a former wrestler and you were very good at wrestling. You're a good grappler. I mean, if you guys watch his grappling videos, he doesn't make a lot of grappling videos, obviously, but there's a video of him grappling with Paulo Costa, and this guy was keeping up with Costa, man. Costa's a big guy, and he was keeping up with Costa, and that's that's saying something, right? And so if he's keeping up with him, grappling with Floyd will tire him out. But obviously Floyd didn't look like he got tired. He might have been a little bit, but it didn't show. It showed more on Logan's face that he was tired. The commentators pointed it out, even though the commentators were a little biased. I'm not gonna lie. It was kind of annoying how biased the commentators are. You never want to hear that come from commentators, right? Because your job is to call the action, not vote for one side. But I'm not gonna get into that. But yeah, man. That's pretty much the fight breakdown. Obviously, Floyd Mayweather won the fight. There's no doubt. Logan probably won 1 or 2 rounds, and that's it. I can't remember exactly which rounds that he won. I would have to rewatch the fight. But yeah, this was the breakdown of the fight. A lot of people aren't going to watch it like how I do, and I don't expect them to watch it how I do. Watch it as a fan, right? I'm not going to come on here and be like, yo, watch it properly. Examine the fight, right? I'm not going to tell you to do that. We watch boxing for fun. We watch it because we want to see people get knocked out. We want to see get people dropped on their ass, right? And that's that. Another thing I want to mention is a lot of people, I talked to a lot of people last night, and they were all asking me, questions about the fight, because they're like, Josh, boxing, this. What the hell was that? And I'm like, man, I tried to explain to people, and they're like, man, Logan and Jake are garbage. They can't box. They don't know what they're doing. You might be right about that in Logan's scenario, but because obviously he stepped into the ring with Floyd, right, and probably did get knocked out, but I think Floyd held him up, And so that was pretty funny to me. I saw that on Instagram that Floyd really clipped Logan with a right hand, but Floyd held him up just to keep the show going. So props to Floyd Mayweather for that. But probably you should have just ended it because the crowd wants to see a knockout. But the hate on Logan and Jake, I get it. I get why people don't like these guys. I get why people call them fake fighters. But these guys are fighting. These guys are fighting. Tyron Woodley has said that these guys are getting recognized by top tier boxers that are formerly retired. Mike Tyson, all of these guys right now, right? They're getting recognized. And if they're saying that these guys are what they're doing for the sport of boxing is good, then why aren't we, right? Why isn't everyone else saying that, right? Because a lot of people are biased. A lot of people look at the past. A lot of people look at the Paul brothers and be like, man, these two guys don't know what they're doing. I can't stand them. But how much money and viewership have they brought into the boxing world since they've arrived on the scene? Quite a bit, right? A lot of y'all are going to hate on Jake and Logan, but guess what? You're still going to buy the pay-per-view. You're still going to watch it at least, right? Because I know people don't watch it illegally. But you're still going to watch it. That is their plan. These guys are marketing geniuses, right? And I was talking to a guy last night, and like, how are they marketing geniuses? I'm like, did you watch the fight? And he's like, yeah, I watched the fight. And I'm like, there you go. There you go. They reel you in. They know exactly what they're doing. These two guys are actually smart. These Logan and Jake are very smart when it comes to marketing. They know what they do. They know how to market themselves. Jake Paul is, probably not like this in real life. Like with the cameras off. This guy invests into Bitcoin and all that stuff. This guy's smart. This guy is very smart. And so is Logan Paul. Logan Paul and Jake have matured over the years. And I'm not one to judge because I'm one who has had a rough past and who has done stuff in his past. And I wouldn't want people to bring up my past right now. Be like, you did this years ago. You're still that same person. That is not the case. Logan and Jake have both done some stupid things in the past. But we all have, right? And I'm not sitting up here trying to change y'all minds. If y'all want to keep hating on people, then go ahead, right? That's not up to me. I'm personally not going to. I'm personally not going to sit up here and disrespect these guys for what they're doing for boxing. Because Jake Paul and Nate Robinson sold out more than Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. That there should just say something right there. That Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder sold out more. Right? So Jake Paul sold out more. Right? Jake Paul, you guys can go look up these stats. Jake Paul is the third highest paid boxer right now. Jake Paul, who only has 1, 2, 3, about to be 4 fights under his belt. But right now only has 3 fights under his belt. Who do you know who's done that? 3 fights under the belt and a top 3 highest paid boxer right now. Exactly. It takes time for other fighters. And I get other fighters, right, are be like, man, we have to work our way to the top. We didn't have the privilege that these guys have. I get that. You didn't. You had to work your way up. And a lot of us do. These guys have, and that's, the salty fighters that don't have no name, right? That we haven't heard about that are saying that, right? Even Canelo got mad at Jake Paul for saying Logan won the fight. I don't blame him. Canelo's my favorite fighter, man. If Jake Paul ever steps in the ring with Canelo, he's going to sleep in the first 10 seconds. But and that's just real. We all know that. But yeah, man, these guys are making money. They're making the bag. So I can't sit up here and disrespect them. But yeah, I don't want this video to be more long than it is. It's already going on to 15 minutes. But yeah, man, this is the breakdown of the fight and telling y'all, Jake and Logan really know what they're doing, man. Logan might be getting his butt whooped, but man can make enough money to buy 20 houses. and a BMW, maybe two, right? And so that's all we're talking about here. But that's gonna wrap it up for today, man. Go, make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel. Jesus, man, getting hit in the head is not fun. Subscribe, like, and comment. Hit the notification bell so you're up to date with all the videos. Most importantly, stay cool. I'm gone, yo.